Listen closely, because this may be the most important truth you'll ever hear about love, heartbreak, and the human soul. When an avoidant comes back, it's not an accident. It's not random. It's not just a mistake. It means something. Think about it. Avoidants don't casually return. They don't wander back into your life just to say hello. Their walls are high, their defenses are strong, and every part of their identity screams, I don't need you. So when they show back up at your door, in your messages, or even just hovering around your world, it's a sign, a message, a deeper truth trying to reveal itself. And today, I want to break this down for you, not with fluff, not with wishful thinking, but with raw, unshakable clarity. Because if you've been questioning what it means when an avoidant circles back, you're about to find out. When an avoidant comes back, the very first truth you must understand is that it means they felt something real. And I don't mean casual attraction. I don't mean a fleeting spark or a temporary pull. I mean something powerful enough to break through the fortress they've built around their heart. Avoidants don't invest in relationships lightly. And when they do, their natural instinct is to minimize, suppress, or deny their emotions because closeness feels threatening. So if they return, it's not because they were bored, and it's not because they had no other options. It's because your connection reached them at a level most people never will. You see, an avoidant's entire defense system is built to protect them from feeling vulnerable. They've often learned early in life that love equals danger, closeness equals pain, and needing someone only ends in disappointment. So they armor up, they become masters of self-reliance, pushing others away, pretending they don't care. They can ghost, detach, and disappear with alarming ease. That's their default. But here's the paradox: when they circle back to you, it means your presence cracked the armor. Something about you, something about what they experience with you, was too authentic to dismiss. That's what makes their return such a significant moment, because avoidants don't usually revisit what they've left behind. They'd rather escape into solitude or distract themselves with surface-level connections. But when they felt something that touched their core, no matter how deeply they try to bury it, the pull eventually resurfaces. The emotional truth gnaws at them in silence. And it shows up in that moment when they reappear. So what does this mean for you? It means you were not just another face in the crowd. You were not just another chapter they could easily turn the page on. You awakened something so raw that, even against their own instincts, they had to come back. That's the power of real emotional connection. It outlives silence. It breaks through denial. It calls the avoidant out of hiding and forces them to confront feelings they'd rather run from. This is why their return is never meaningless. It's not casual. It's not just checking in. It's a sign that what you two shared had depth, weight, and truth. Something inside them remembers. Something inside them refuses to let go. That's what it really means when they come back. They felt something real. And that's not something they do every day. When an avoidant comes back, it also means you touched a wound. Most people misunderstand avoidant behavior because they only see the surface, the pulling away, the coldness, the walls. But beneath that armor lies a very different story, one rooted in the inner child who once learned that love was unsafe. The avoidant isn't avoiding you. They're avoiding the pain that closeness awakens inside of them. And if they return, it's proof that your connection stirred something so deep, so raw, that they could no longer keep it hidden. Think about it. Avoidants are experts at numbing their own needs. They convince themselves they don't want intimacy. They train themselves to shut down emotions, to disconnect before anyone can hurt them. But when someone touches their wound, when someone gets close enough to the part of them they've been protecting for years, the defense mechanisms start to falter. They retreat at first. It's their survival strategy. But eventually that wound they're carrying pulls them back because it refuses to stay unacknowledged. Your presence reminded them of what they crave but fear at the same time. It may have been the safety you offered, the patience you showed, or the unconditional way you cared. To their inner child, it feels both magnetic and terrifying. It's like holding a flame close to ice. It starts to melt, and that melting is uncomfortable. That's why they run. But the fact that they come back means that flame left a mark. You reached into the places they usually keep locked away, and part of them cannot ignore the shift. This is not something small. Many people can date an avoidant, share moments with them, and never touch that hidden place. Those connections remain surface level, easy to walk away from. But if they circle back to you, it's because your bond went beneath the surface. You activated their deepest longing to be seen, loved, and accepted, even though they fear it. And while their instinct is to escape that discomfort, their soul is drawn back toward it because it's real. So when an avoidant returns, understand that you've stirred their wound, not in a destructive way, but in a way that exposes what has always been there. It means you've awakened their vulnerability, their hunger for closeness, and the fragile part of them that still believes love is possible. That wound is both the reason they leave and the reason they cannot stay gone. When an avoidant comes back, it means time couldn't erase you. This is powerful because avoidants rely heavily on distance to regulate their emotions. They believe if they cut off contact, if they step away long enough, the feelings will fade. They convince themselves that out of sight means out of mind, that space will dissolve the bond. And often, they genuinely believe they can move on by shutting the door. But when they return, it's undeniable proof that time did not do what they expected. Instead of erasing you, the memory of you grew stronger. Avoidants are used to being able to detach. It's their coping mechanism. They can immerse themselves in work, distractions, or even new relationships, but these things usually function as surface-level bandages. When someone never touched them deeply, forgetting is easy. The connection dissolves quickly, and they continue with life as if nothing happened. But when the connection has substance, when it reaches their core, no amount of silence or distance can bury it. Over time, instead of vanishing, the bond lingers and the emotions resurface with even greater intensity. That is why they reappear. Your presence carved itself into their emotional landscape in a way they can't deny. Maybe it was the way you made them feel seen without judgment, or the way your energy brought them a sense of safety and freedom at the same time. These experiences leave impressions that time cannot wash away. An avoidant might try to convince themselves they've moved on, but in quiet moments, late at night, during stress, or when something reminds them of you, the truth leaks through. They feel the echo of what you shared, and it pulls them back even against their will. This is why their return carries such significance. If time could erase you, they would have stayed gone. If you were forgettable, their silence would have been permanent. The fact that they come back is evidence that what you two had was not ordinary. It was not something that fades with weeks or months of separation. It was something that planted itself in their heart, something too real to be erased. And eventually, that truth wins. So when an avoidant returns, know this: you were unforgettable. You left a mark that distance couldn't destroy. No matter how hard they tried to silence it, the connection only grew louder in the spaces between. That is why they circle back, because time, their greatest weapon, failed to erase you. When an avoidant comes back, it means their masks slip. Avoidants are masters of creating an image, strong, independent, self-sufficient, untouched by emotion. They build this mask to protect themselves, not just from others, but from their own vulnerability. To the world, they appear composed, detached, and sometimes even indifferent. But the truth beneath the mask is very different. Behind the calm exterior is someone deeply afraid of needing, of depending, of being seen too closely. When they reappear in your life, it is proof that this carefully constructed mask cracked, even if only for a moment. For an avoidant, showing vulnerability feels like stepping into danger. They've trained themselves to believe that letting someone see their softer side equals losing control, and losing control equals getting hurt. That's why they hide behind silence, distance, or dismissiveness. It's easier to act like they don't care than to admit how deeply they do. But when they come back, when they initiate contact or allow themselves to step closer again, it's a rare glimpse into their true self. Their return is them unconsciously admitting, I can't keep pretending you didn't matter. This is why their presence has weight. It isn't casual. It isn't meaningless. They had to set down the mask for just long enough to reconnect with you, and that alone reveals a crack in their walls. It shows that you reached beyond their performance of detachment and connected with their hidden reality, the part of them that longs to be accepted even in weakness. You see, most people never witness this side of an avoidant. The mask is too strong, too polished. They walk away from others easily, leaving no trace of vulnerability. But with you, something different happened. You became someone whose impact was too real, too powerful to cover with indifference. And though they may not confess it openly, their very return is a confession in itself. So when they circle back, understand the magnitude of it. It means you saw through them. It means you reached the part of them they spend their whole lives trying to protect. And even though they may still struggle to keep the mask in place, the act of coming back reveals a truth they can no longer hide. For once, their armor slipped and their heart was exposed. When an avoidant comes back, it means you hold power. Not the kind of power that controls or manipulates, but the kind that impacts a person so deeply that they cannot ignore it. Avoidants pride themselves on being untouchable. They tell themselves they don't need anyone, they don't depend on anyone, and no one has the ability to shake them. That belief is the very foundation of their identity. But when they return, it's evidence that you broke through that illusion. You left an imprint so undeniable that their defenses couldn't erase it. That's power, the kind that comes from authenticity, from connection, from the truth of who you are. Think about it. For an avoidant, detachment is their greatest weapon. They know how to cut ties, how to pull back, how to silence emotions with distance. For most people, that strategy works. They leave and the relationship dissolves. But when they walk away from you and still come back, it's proof that you reached them in a place where no strategy works. You disrupted the pattern they rely on to stay safe. That disruption is not weakness on your part. It's strength. It shows that your love, your presence, your energy had an effect on them that was greater than the walls they hide behind. The power you hold is not about dominance or control. It's about the undeniable truth that you matter. They felt something with you that shook their certainty, that challenged the story they tell themselves about being immune to connection. When they reappear, it's their unspoken admission that you are not just another chapter they can skim over. You represent something they cannot dismiss, no matter how hard they try. This kind of power is rare. Few people ever touch an avoidant deeply enough to pull them back. Many will pass through their lives, remembered only in fragments, quickly replaced, easily forgotten. But not you. Your presence pierced through their armor, and that kind of impact is unforgettable. So when they come back, recognize what it really means. You've held up a mirror to them, showing that love can reach even the most guarded heart. That is the power you hold. The power of being truly significant in a world where they rarely let anyone in. When an avoidant comes back, it means they're testing safety. For most people, love is about closeness, comfort, and connection. But for an avoidant, love feels like a battlefield. To them, intimacy is risky, trust is dangerous, and needing someone feels like surrendering control. So when they circle back into your life, they're not only reconnecting, they're also measuring. They're silently asking, is it safe here? Can I let down my guard without being swallowed, judged, or abandoned? This testing doesn't usually happen with words. Avoidants rarely sit down and openly admit their fears. Instead, they observe. They watch how you respond. They pay attention to the energy between you. Sometimes they'll inch closer, then pull back again, just to see if the space feels threatening or secure. It's their way of scanning the environment, searching for signs that being vulnerable won't end in pain. Their return is not just about longing. It's about curiosity. It's about seeing whether the connection that once stirred their deepest fears might also hold the safety their heart has always craved. For you, this can feel confusing. One moment they seem engaged, the next moment distant again. But what looks like indecision is actually their nervous system at work. Their whole being is wired to expect rejection or suffocation. So by coming back, they are testing whether this story is still true. Can you still hold space for them without demanding they be someone they're not? Can you still show them acceptance without overwhelming them? Every interaction becomes, for them, a quiet test of safety. And here's the truth, if they're back, it's because something in you already made them feel safer than most people ever have. Your presence softened their fear, even if only slightly. That's what drew them back. But now they're watching to see if that feeling was real, if it can last. It's not manipulation, it's survival. Their heart wants to trust, but their fear demands proof. So when they return, it's not simply a step toward you. It's also a step toward their own healing. They're wrestling with the part of themselves that longs for connection and the part that still whispers, don't get too close. By re-entering your life, they're essentially asking, can I finally put this battle down? Can I risk being seen here? That's the quiet question hidden behind their return. When an avoidant comes back, it means your energy shifted them. Avoidants don't respond to logic or persuasion the way you might hope. You can't talk them into closeness, you can't argue them into love, and you can't convince them to stay by begging. What reaches them isn't words, it's energy. It's the unspoken vibration of how you show up, how you love, how you carry yourself. And when they circle back into your life, it's proof that something in your energy touched them in a way they couldn't ignore. For most of their lives, avoidants move through relationships by keeping things surface level. They may engage, but they don't surrender. They might share space, but they don't truly let others in. That's why people often feel shut out or unimportant when dealing with an avoidant. But once in a while, they meet someone whose presence bypasses their defenses. Someone who doesn't just talk to their mind, but speaks directly to their heart. When they return, it's because you were that someone. The energy you brought, whether it was calmness, patience, acceptance, or even the intensity of your passion, left a mark. Energy is powerful because it's not something they can block the way they block words. They can dismiss conversations, shut down arguments, or even disappear to avoid confrontation. But the way you made them feel in your presence lingers. Maybe you gave them peace when the world felt heavy. Maybe you inspired them when they thought they were unworthy. Maybe you loved them in a way that didn't demand they be perfect, and that memory refuses to fade. That is why they come back, because the energy you embodied shifted something inside them. It's also important to see this clearly. The shift doesn't always mean they're fully healed or ready for the kind of love you might want, but it does mean they recognize something in you that changed the way they experience connection. They felt seen, they felt stirred, they felt alive. Even if they can't explain it, even if they'd never admit it out loud, your energy reminded them of something they've been searching for, but too afraid to accept. So when they reappear, understand that you were not ordinary. You carried an energy that broke through the silence and touched a part of them they've kept hidden from the world. That is why they return, because your presence shifted the way they see themselves, and once that happens, they cannot go back to pretending it never existed. When an avoidant comes back, it means the choice is yours. For so long, it may have felt like they held the power. They pulled away, they disappeared. They set the rhythm of the relationship by deciding when to lean in and when to retreat. That dynamic can leave you feeling like you're always waiting, always wondering, always powerless. But when they return, the truth is revealed. Their reappearance is not the end of the story, it's an invitation. And what happens next is no longer about them, it's about you. Their return does not guarantee transformation. It doesn't automatically mean they are ready to love in the way you deserve. It doesn't mean they've suddenly shed all their fears and healed all their wounds. What it does mean is that the door has opened again. And now you get to decide whether to walk through it, whether to allow them back into your world, whether to continue the old cycle or create a new one. This moment is about reclaiming your own power. Too often, when avoidants come back, people immediately shift into over-analysis. Why did they return? Do they love me? Do they want a future? Does this mean we're meant to be? But the real question is not why they came back. The real question is, what do you want now? Their return doesn't determine your worth, and it doesn't determine your destiny. It simply presents you with a choice to repeat the familiar pain or to rise into clarity about what you need. Maybe this is the chance to set new boundaries. Maybe it's the moment to have an honest conversation about what you will and won't accept. Maybe it's even the moment to say no, to walk away for good, and to recognize that their return was not a signal to reattach, but a signal of your strength. Whatever the path, the power lies with you now. When they come back, remember this is not about proving yourself worthy of their love. It's about deciding whether their presence aligns with the love you deserve. Their return is not the final word. It is only an opening. And the story that follows will be written by your choices, not theirs. That is the deeper meaning behind their reappearance. The universe handing the pen back to you, reminding you that you are not powerless, you are not waiting, you are the one who gets to choose the ending. When an avoidant comes back, it is never random, never meaningless, never accidental. Their return is layered with signals, truths, and reflections about the connection you once shared. Every action they take is filtered through walls built to protect themselves from pain, so when those walls bend enough for them to step back toward you, it carries weight. It tells you that the bond between you had an impact, that you touched something deep inside them, something even they can't fully explain away. But the real transformation comes not from analyzing them endlessly, but from recognizing what their return reveals about you, your strength, and your choices. This entire journey has not been about waiting for their approval or hoping they finally validate your worth. It has been about understanding the deeper truths of love, connection, and human vulnerability. Their coming back is a mirror showing you the kind of impact you had, the power of your energy, and the undeniable fact that you mattered in ways they couldn't hide, even from themselves. But at the same time, it's also a reminder, you don't need to chain your value to their decisions. You don't need to place your life on pause while they wrestle with their fears. You hold the pen now, and you decide the story that unfolds. If you allow it, their return can become a turning point for your own growth. You can use this moment to reclaim your power, to set boundaries you never had the courage to before, and to rise into the clarity of what you truly want and deserve in love. Maybe their reappearance becomes the catalyst for deeper connection, or maybe it becomes the final chapter that gives you closure. Either way, the meaning is not limited to them. It expands into your evolution, your healing, your journey forward. Because at the heart of it, this isn't just about avoidance. It's about the universal human struggle between fear and love, walls and vulnerability, running and returning. Their patterns may be extreme, but their longing is the same as everyone else's, to love and be loved without losing themselves. And when they come back, you stand at a crossroads. You can step back into the old cycle, or you can create something new, whether with them or beyond them. That choice defines your future far more than their return ever could. So let this be your reminder: you are not powerless. You are not waiting for someone to finally see you. You already are enough, and their return is simply a reflection of the truth that was always there. Your light, your impact, your worth. What you do next is where the real power lies. You can choose love, you can choose boundaries, you can choose freedom, but above all, you can choose yourself. That is the ultimate meaning when an avoidant comes back. It is not only about what they feel, it is about the strength you now have to decide the ending. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with me today. If this message spoke to you, if it opened your eyes or gave you strength, then don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it too. Your support helps this channel grow and allows me to continue creating content that inspires, heals, and empowers. Remember, every time you listen, every time you engage, you're not just feeding your mind, you're investing in your growth. And that growth is the foundation for everything you want in life, from love to purpose to freedom. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and make sure you stay connected to this community of people who are choosing to rise higher every single day. Your journey doesn't end here. It begins here. Carry this message forward with courage, and never forget you are stronger than your fears, greater than your doubts, and worthy of the love and life you dream of. Until next time, thank you for being here, thank you for listening, and goodbye for now. But never goodbye to your growth. Stay strong, stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next video.